All right. We are live here. Jesse here with my guy Jake, data guy over at Dude Champions. Live post-game reactions. As you guys can see, we're ready. AFC East, maybe a little too early. Don't crown him, but we're going to crown him, Jake. What do you think? What do you think?
Man, I mean, so much to talk about. We'll get into a lot of it, but geez, I mean, right from the beginning, just dominated, continue that dominance over the Dolphins. And yeah, like you said, I mean, are the Patriots the most dangerous team to us right now? Like, geez, it's week two, but geez.
It feels that way, man. That was crazy. And hey, I got to start the whole thing by hand up. I had the Dolphins winning this game. I
I
had the
know.
Dolphins winning this
I
game.
know. I know.
I'm just gonna come out. I'm gonna come clean. I feel like a dirty little birdie, but I had the Dolphins winning this game. By a touchdown. I think I predicted 34-27. I threw in the group chat the Dolphins could hang 50 or 60 on us. The guys were melting down. I didn't like our chances coming into this game. I thought it was a tough spot on the road, division. Miami's got blood on their mouth from the last time we punched them in the mouth. It just didn't feel good for me. Boy, was I wrong.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, how could you have picked or predicted this game script? I mean, it's crazy. I mean, I was definitely nervous. The defense, so many new pieces, and with all the direction, and I thought communication was going to be tough, and so yeah, I was nervous going into it as well. But you just always play Miami tough, and credit to Babbage and McDermott. I mean,
Yes.
they really have McDaniel's number, and it's been crazy, man. They've really figured him out. Um, so I guess we should have given that more respect. And then, you know, Hard Rock is basically Josh's second home.
Oh my gosh, this dude is living rent free. He's
Unbelievable,
leasing
man.
with an option to buy right now.
And what a great game as far as like he didn't have to do too much. You had a
No.
couple plays of just vintage Josh. Scrambling, extending, but
Yep.
under control, didn't try to do too much, and
Yeah.
frankly, didn't need to, right? And this is the kind of games we want to see from him is, you know, don't give the game away, right? Take what the defense is giving you, lots of different weapons to get the ball to. And yeah, if someone had told you he would only have 139 yards passing and one touchdown, you would have said, how much did we lose by? Or did he get hurt?
Yeah, man. Dare I say shades of Dallas game last year
Yeah.
where,
Mhm.
we're going up against this juggernaut, didn't have a good feeling about it. And then, James Cook, woo, maybe didn't
Yeah.
run for,
Yeah.
buck 89 or buck 90, whatever it was last year against Dallas, but three tuds,
Yeah.
three tuds. Jake, you're the data guy. I would love to see some data back to back weeks, just back to back weeks. Nevertheless, opening up the season, but Saquon went for 3 week
Yeah.
1. Now James
Yeah.
Cook goes for 3 week 2. Dude, there's got to be some crazy, crazy data there.
Yeah, for sure. And the way they're doing it too, right? It's not just pounding them in at the goal line like vintage style. It's
Dude,
getting
James
into the
Cook caught a
passing
pass
game.
for a touchdown.
Yeah, dude, and
What?
and yeah, I mean in that fourth down play, was it, 4th and 2,
Yeah.
from the 17-yard line, and
Yep.
they do a little two men in the backfield, go different directions, and they blitz off the edge, and Josh just calmly waits, lets Cook get a little out there, floats it out there, and then it's off to the races. So
Let's not gloss over the fact there, and I got this in my notes, that 3rd and 2, horrible play call on the
yeah,
third.
yeah,
And then listening to you, and this is not me throwing you under the bus,
no, for
but
sure, for sure.
listening to you and watching your analytics here, McDermott trending towards being a more conservative coach decides to go for it.
Yeah, and that one's an interesting one. Like that one, like it's not even on the analytics scale as far as like
No,
to go for it. Like it's literally even win percentage for to go for it or the field goal. Like so it's one of those weird ones, right? It's not even like a small percentage gain. Now if you succeed, it's an 8% switch. So it goes from 54% to 62% with the conversion. But yeah, it was just interesting one that It was essentially a neutral spot, and he decided to be aggressive, and I love it in that game, right? Like we were all
Yep.
expecting, if the Bills were going to lose, it was going to be because Miami, was going to put up the points, right, and outscore the Bills. So
Right.
I like that he tried to take control of it, right, get the early lead, put the pressure on Miami, and it was a great call. And then it was funny, the next drive he's got a 4th and 1. Granted, in Buffalo territory, but it's a go for it. It's a 2.9% win percentage increase, and it's 4th and 1. So I don't know if it's because Josh's hand, right? They don't want to do the Josh sneak,
Yeah.
but that was like a clear go for it, and he didn't. And so that it's just interesting. Like I still think he's he's way more about the feels and the situation than he is so much in the analytics and just going by what the analytics is telling him.
Yeah, no, I agree 100% there. And, we live by it, we die by it. And
Yep.
tonight we live by it, right?
Yeah.
Made all the right calls. I thought the game script was good. I mean, the defense balled out. Dude, 3 interceptions by Tua.
Yep.
What do the notes say here? Tua, first time throwing 2 interceptions in the first quarter in 55 games.
Wow.
I know that's kind of first quarter. Yeah, I get it. But still, I mean, Tua looked like a shell of himself. And hey, let's, all bullshit aside, I hope he's all right. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Right. I mean, I actually really like Tua. Like
Yeah.
personality wise, as a person, I really enjoy hearing him talk, and I think he's a great guy. But uh, as a opposing quarterback for one of our rivals, right? Like we don't want him to do well, but the last thing you want to see is someone get hurt like that. Except maybe Deshaun Watson, but so it was terrible, man. You saw that, and you could just tell, man, the whole energy went out of the place and both sidelines. And
Yeah.
I'm watching with my family, and everyone kind of got quiet. Even my kids were asking, what's wrong, because they could sense something, major
Yeah.
had happened. So yeah, you just never want to see something like that. And
Mhm.
and yeah, who knows what the future holds from, right? Like we don't want to speculate too much, but it was a clean hit by Hamlin, and Tua went head first, right? I think he didn't know where he was, if he still needed to get more yardage, right,
Oh
for
my
the
gosh,
first
he
down.
did and I'm not trying to mimic him. I hope. I'm just saying I just like
Yeah, he
dude,
did the
he
fencing
did the
pose for
fencing
sure.
again.
Yeah,
Student put it out on X,
yeah,
Twitter.
it's scary.
Oh my gosh, and to have that happen again, it's just kind of like deja vu. It was definitely tough to watch that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, super scary, and you got to hope he's all right. And you know, I don't know. It's hard to talk around injuries, right, and how they affect the game, right? But we are talking about a post game show, and from the Bills' perspective, uh, it didn't really affect the game, right? Like a game, you felt like at that point it was already out of hand. It was 31, 10, right? Like
Yeah,
he had thrown the 3 picks already, and the last one, was the pick six, right? So
yeah. Um, Tough game for Tua all the way around. I'm not gonna pick any low hanging fruit right now. It's
right,
not the
right,
time
right, right,
for it. I want this guy to be okay.
for
I
sure.
mean,
Well,
it
we can
it
focus on
felt
the Bills side of it too, right? I mean,
yeah,
what they were doing, schematically, was really nice. They looked like they were bumping the receivers on the line of scrimmage, like they had,
yeah,
done previously, trying to throw off the timing. It almost looked like they were trying to flash the linebackers into, the throwing lanes. They like to throw those glance routes, those slants over the middle.
yeah,
I thought they did a really good job throwing off the timing, and then you finally saw some interior pressure, um, get after them, and that's how you really get to it, right? You
yeah.
get that interior pressure, get him to move one way or the other, and he gets kind of rattled. And I think that was that second interception, right? It's hard to blame the first interception so much on him. I
Oh, the
mean,
first
the
the
receiver,
first one was one of the most flukiest things I've
right,
ever
right, hit the
seen.
receiver in the shoulder. I think,
It was 15 yards to the left.
yeah, and
What?
I want to watch that because I want to say his Benford got his hand in there, but
Yeah,
yeah, the receiver wasn't even looking to hit him in the shoulder. Like you can't blame two on that. Like that was a good ball. but yeah, that was fluky. But the second one, I mean, he was definitely, feeling the heat and, overthrew it because he was kind of moving on the run. So that was nice. And then the third one was for sure, right? He's getting moved out of the pocket again to the left again, and
Man,
he tried. It looked like he tried to throw it out of bounds, right? But get it past the line of scrimmage and kind of floated it. And,
that's some first year quarterbacking right there.
right,
As we were
right.
saying
And
too, like
I don't
that
like
that
does
is
does Tua do? I mean, I know we had a Dolphins content creator on our show,
yeah
um, and Selly Sports and Jordan, and he was saying you can always count on Tua to have one or two throws where you're like, what are you doing, man? Like, what was
yeah
that? But I don't remember seeing Tua in other games I've watched of him like be that kind of like shook almost. It seemed like,
no.
and he's
Dude, the
done that a
whole the
couple
whole
times
Dolphins
now against the
sideline was
Bills.
shook, dude. You hit the nail right in the head. The whole Dolphins sideline was
Yeah,
shook.
yeah, they
You
didn't have
saw
any
Mike
energy, man.
McDaniel. He looked like dude. His eyes were bloodshot. He's just on the sideline,
Yeah,
like he didn't know what to do.
yeah,
Hey, hand up. Like I said, I thought Miami was going to give us this one, and we get them back in Buffalo. That's what I thought was going to happen.
yeah, yeah.
I didn't think it was a good spot for us this early in the season, dude. Josh Allen revenge tour, and
Yeah, dude.
I say that without him having to go off. Still,
Yeah,
Josh Allen revenge tour. He played a good game, man.
yeah, he made some really good throws. I mean, that one to Ty Johnson, he kind of turned down Kincaid.
Dude,
That looked like
oh,
he could have had the first, but Josh, he's always looking for a
vintage
little more.
Josh Allen.
Right. Like that was great. And then the Shakir, laser over the middle.
Oh,
He
dude, what a
just
great throw. There was 3 Dolphins coming in on him.
right, right.
Just a bullet right through his chest. I loved it. Let's talk about too that Ty Johnson getting open on
Yeah,
that play. A
yeah,
running back having the wherewithal to run down the field, recognize who his quarterback is and what his quarterback's doing to
yeah,
get down the field and get out and open. And this is a big ask, and I know it's vintage Josh making the throw. Dude, Josh had him for a touchdown there.
yeah, yeah.
He had him
No,
for a
and
touchdown.
it was a heads up play by both of them being on the same
Yes.
page, right? I mean, you had Ty going like literally along the sideline, and then as Josh is getting farther outside, you see, I don't know if Josh made a hand movement or what happened, but it looks like Ty just kind of cut in a little bit more, and then Josh led him, the rest of the way inside. And man, is there nothing sweeter than seeing Ramsey get cooked again, man? I just love seeing him get abused by
By a running back?
yeah, dude. with a with with a banged up knee, he sat out of practices too. Like,
See you,
oh,
dude.
it was just fantastic to see. But yeah,
I
it was.
couldn't
I
agree
love
more.
watching Josh like put on his cape for just a couple plays, right? Like those just turn the whole tide of the game when you can do that. Converting fourth downs, the third and longs, like those
Yes.
are backbreakers, man. And that's all you need from him. You don't need him like to do it play in and play out, right? Like get him those easy throws to Kincaid as well, those little screens, and obviously the run game
Dude,
working too. But keep it on schedule.
on the notes, first thing wrote Kincaid involved early.
Yep,
Love that.
yep, yep.
Yes.
And
Dude,
Shakir too, right? Like it looked like there was more of an effort to try to get both of those guys the ball.
yes, exactly. And I know, so Arizona took Kincaid away last week,
For
and I
sure.
didn't.
Yeah.
You watched all 22. Was there
Yep.
anything that you saw Arizona doing that stuck out? Or is it just like a whole blanket statement? They took him
Oh,
away.
dude, it was unreal. Like, yeah, they were doing like triangle him and boxing him, with 3 and 4 defenders, and it was pretty crazy. Like, you can't really put more attention on a guy. Like, they were treating him like he was Kelsey or any of those guys, or even more, right? Like, it was really impressive to see. Um, and so like I don't fault that at all, right? Like let all the coverage flow there and let other guys eat, right? But it was nice to see them say, all right, you guys want to try to do that when we get uh Kincaid down the field, let's just get him behind the line of scrimmage, right? And get him the
Yeah.
ball, because once you get the ball in his hands, man, he's so good after the catch. Him and Shakir,
Dude,
man, they transition
yes.
to a runner so fast.
Yes. Yeah, I gotta say it. Shakira reminds me of Steph Diggs light, where he can get open and he's going to get down and he's going to get in that. He's going to find the soft part of that zone or the
Yeah,
coverage, whatever it might be.
yeah,
He's going to sit down in it. He's going to make that catch. It just reminds me of Diggs so much. Early Diggs, you know what
right,
I mean? And
right.
then, dude, Kincaid, the yak, dude, the yards after the catch. That dude gets the fuck up field, dude. I'm here for that,
Yeah, he
man.
really does. And then, he's not he's like a skinny, long dude too, right?
Yeah, I
Like,
know,
so
right?
like the way he kind of moves and runs, he's kind of like
Yes,
slippery, but he's always falling forward, man, for a couple extra yards, and
I
yeah,
love
those are
it.
just huge, man, to keep moving the ball down the field. And so I thought that was great too. I mean,
I love it.
obviously, it's the defense giving them short fields. I mean, it makes it so much easier for
Oh
the
yeah,
offense when they can get short fields like that, and then, but you got to credit the offense too, right, to convert and you know having to do it on third and longs and fourth down was, they earned that. So it was a full team effort for sure.
yeah,
Um, and you talked about earlier, like, being a little worried about this game. Well, I mean, Bernard going out, man, that for me, I was like, oh man, this game just got a lot harder. And then
dude.
first play, Spectre comes in, right? Is they run the action with Ingold to the right side with Achan, and no linebacker went out there, right? So it's 1-on-1 with a corner, or 2-on-1, sorry, with a
Yeah,
corner, and it's like, yeah, no one's gonna make that play, right? And
dude.
so
Talk about it. So you're leading into it, but talk about Spectre having to come in for Bernard.
yeah,
Bernard, it's a pec injury, and what I saw is if he needs surgery, it's like 3 to 6 months.
yeah,
If he doesn't, it could be 4 to 6 weeks.
yeah, yep.
Shit, it's shit either way. And part of my
Yeah, I
argument
mean,
is
it
what
depends
it
on
is,
how
what it
bad
is.
it's torn, right? We dealt with it with Daquan last year, and he,
Exactly.
he was able to come back, but he missed what, like 8 to 10 weeks or something
Yeah,
like
he
that.
missed the
So
whole meat of the schedule.
right, so yeah, you hate to see that, but I mean, that's why you have guys like Spectre in the system. I know he gets a knock for always being hurt, but when he's actually played, he's played well, and to have a guy who's worn the green dot before and who knows the system really well. I mean, that's what I was really impressed with. Was he came in, man, and he was directing traffic on the next series and looked under control. And I mean, him and Dorian they were in the right places. And again, I mean, there's another one, right? Dorian had a really good game. I mean, I can't wait to watch him on tape. But I mean, we were worried that we were going to lose games because of him, especially against
Yeah,
a team like Miami, right? Where play action and um, getting sucked up in coverage. And I thought they did a really good job in coverage. The linebackers dropping back into zones, and I mean, it doesn't get much tougher assignment than this Dolphins team. So I can't wait to watch both of them. But for Spectre to come in like that and play was amazing, and then Ingram to have another lights out game.
dude.
I mean, come on, dude, two picks and
Where
one
did
for
this
a
dude
pick
come
six.
from, man? Where did
Right.
he come from?
Right. I mean,
What?
you love to see that, and then Cam Lewis had another really good game. He was in the backfield a ton, so
Uh,
he had a missed tackle or two. I know, but
the sheet, Jake. The sheet.
yeah,
The sheet's telling me right here. Cam Lewis, horrible angle on that first H-hand touchdown.
for sure. But also, you're talking about one of the fastest guys in the league, right? And you're asking a lot of Cam Lewis to defend that in space. So I thought he still came up in run defense really well,
That's
and
fair. That's
and they
fair.
asked him to do some interesting things in coverage. Like I hope we get to spotlight that this week in all 22, because they were doing a lot of bumping guys on the coverage, and it was nice to see, man. And I thought he played well. I mean, you can't ask for perfection. So
Shout out my guy Jeff here. All the Corvette drivers probably wear crowns like this on a daily basis.
yeah, after they roll out of Burger King, right?
He knows what I'm talking about. Yeah. Oh my God. After Jeff rolls out of Burger King, Jake, that's funnier than you even know. That's funnier for Jeff, a dude that loves a Burger King hot dog in a drop top convertible. Jeff, what's up, buddy? The guys will get it. Anyways, check the sheet here, Jake. Check the sheet. I was going play for a minute there, but a couple of things I want to touch on real quick.
All right.
You listen to No One to Blame podcast with Kevin and myself. We put out our plays for Thursday Night Football. James Cook, anytime touchdown, was plus 50. Ching.
Yeah, that's easy money, man.
Dude, three on the night, right? 3 on the night.
Yeah.
I don't know what those odds were, but plus 3,000.
Yeah, dude. Did anyone have a 3-touchdown James Cook ticket?
I saw one on Instagram, and it had to have been fake because it was James Cook 3 touchdowns, and then it was Achan anytime score in the first
Mm,
quarter, and the odds were like plus 22,000, somewhere in that range. And I'm like, you know what?
yeah, no.
That's not enough.
Yeah, no.
No, it's not
I
enough.
don't think they're gonna list any starting running back like that.
No,
Yeah.
no, that's ridiculous. Not only that, but we hit on Ed Oliver over half a sack plus 200.
Hey, we got to talk about Ed for a second though, because
Oh,
on my
that's the
show,
segue, Jake.
I
That's
had
the
to
segue.
highlight him as, and my uncle, diehard, loves to call him no hit Ed because he'll have those games where he just disappears, and last week he didn't really disappear. Like you watched all 22, like he's eating a lot of double teams. He's minding his gap, playing Kyler. They want to do contain rush, and
Yes,
so it's hard to like really give him too hard a time. But man, he showed up tonight. Man, that sack, he had a couple blow ups on run defense, and so it was good to see. And that's a nice hit, man, to have a bounce back, game against an interior offensive line, right, where he should. This is a type of game where he should show up, and if he doesn't, that's a problem, right? You're paying him way too much.
exactly. And Tua doesn't scramble, and you see what happens
Yeah,
when he does. And
no,
dude, how about the prime Thursday night football montage of Tua every time he doesn't slide and all the injuries he had? It's like, how tone deaf could they be after that injury, dude?
yeah,
That was tough to watch, man. I mean, they're
yeah.
gonna show all that. It's like,
They showed it a
we get it,
lot.
dude. Someone teach this dude to get down
I
and
will
slide.
say I did have Tua over his rushing yards of 4.5. That one just seemed like it was relying too much on sacks, and
Well,
so
you
yeah,
did.
it did. It literally hit too soon there, but yeah. So uh, yeah, Jordan pointed that out as like you have to play that because with him being lighter, he's scrambling more, and
Yeah.
so yeah, that was a nice little hit. I didn't hit on my Ray Davis anytime though. Called that out this week. I thought I had a good shot, but we kind of went pretty conservative there, and
Well, and hang on though. I think the game script fit perfectly for what your angle was.
right,
I just, James Cook was eating, man. Like,
for sure,
are you gonna take him out and put
for
Ray
sure.
in?
Well,
That's not how
they
they
didn't
do it.
have a lot of like low red zone plays either.
No.
So
And it's interesting because one of these plays in the end zone that the Dolphins had, they threw it to like their third string tight end. I don't even what was that guy's name?
was it Hill? Was it 89?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I understand, wanting
Was
to be deceptive, but dude, you got Jonnu Smith
right,
who
right,
would have caught that ball first and
right,
foremost. At what point are they just getting too cute?
for sure.
It
Yeah.
felt that way all game.
I mean, that's always been the McDaniel knock, right? Right. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, really good play designer, right? He had some really good play designs tonight, like awesome stuff with, getting A Chain and Tyreek and even Waddle the ball,
Dude,
quick.
Achan had a game.
We had a game for sure, dude. He's a
He had a
weapon,
game.
and a lot of it was behind the line of scrimmage, right? Make it easy for Tua, but you don't win in this league from finesse, man, and that's kind of their problem. Late in the year is they get too cute and get too pass happy, and the game script switches on them a little bit, and sometimes you just gotta pound the rock, right? And especially in the low red zone, you
Yeah.
can't get too cute, man, and or even just like where's the Tyreek like dagger route or option route like or just a slant like I don't
Dude,
think you got to overcomplicate this stuff.
we tweeted that graphic out, and I know week one was probably just first and foremost small sample size, but
Right.
Arizona didn't even want to target our corners.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
They didn't want any
It was
part
2
of
for
our
like
corner.
14 or 11 or something like that.
It was horrible.
Yeah,
So I was like, okay, this is a litmus test. This is the week.
yeah.
Hey,
They played
like
great, man. Great.
Mike Nigrelli is saying here, McDermott owns Tyreek.
Yep, yep.
Dude, they
At
proved
least
it
at least
again.
Dolphins, Tyreek.
Yeah,
I don't wanna bring up the Chiefs,
no,
Tyreek,
no,
but,
I burned that memory a long, long time ago.
for sure. Yeah, I mean, hats off to Babbage and McDermott. That's a good talking point too, is all the adjustments. I mean, they made a lot of adjustments, in this
Yeah,
game,
and they
and
didn't wait till halftime this game.
for sure. Yeah, you saw it series to series, and even with I mean, you can't say it enough, man. Bernard going out, like your green dot going out against a team like this that run so much misdirection and confusion, to have your guys organized, right? That is really impressive and just shows how good a coach
Yes. Yeah,
Babbage and
dude,
McDermott
that
too,
is
right?
that is
Like,
such a good point that will not get picked up anywhere. They'll say, another linebacker injury. We don't have Milano.
right.
Our green dot goes out.
No
And
Taryn,
they
like,
don't bottle them up, dude.
right, right.
Dude, this
Yeah,
defense, hey, we've been saying it for years, bend don't break, right?
yeah,
Bend
yeah.
don't break. I think they're doing the thing right now. They're doing the thing.
Yeah.
Arizona's offense, tricky. Dolphins offense, very difficult.
Right, right.
27 combined points.
Yeah,
Is that what it ended? Was it 31-10 at the
yeah,
final?
it did 31-10.
What a bloodbath, dude.
Yeah, yeah, it's impressive, man. And hats off to them. And that, I think the biggest takeaway for me from this game is Vaughn. You know, I think he's back, man. That one spin move he had, which was freaking nasty, that it didn't result in anything, but that inside spin move was just disgusting. And then obviously, he had the ghost move, the patented ghost move, the duck and under for the sack. But his get off was even good. Like, if he's back, like, that changes everything for this team. Like, to
Oh
have
yeah.
a dynamic edge rusher like that who can come in and take over a game changes everything. You got to slide
Yep.
protections now. You got to change your game plan, and then that frees up stuff for Groot and Ed on the other side. And AJ too. So I think if Vaughn can keep putting this on tape, it's going to be unbelievable. I mean, really is. It's
Yes.
really exciting
And it's going to help out our weak linebacking crew.
for sure.
They need exactly for everything that you just said. We need as much help as we can get, and our D
Yeah,
line. I thought our secondary, particularly our corners, were the strong point of our defense. And now watching these two games, small sample size, I get it, but
for sure.
the D line is cooking right now, dude. And
Yeah,
it's not that they have 8 sacks over 2 games.
yeah,
It's the ability just to get the pressure to relieve the linebackers, relieve the secondary just a little bit, let
yeah,
them get caught up on their routes or whatever it might be. I just think it's imperative that they keep doing that, dude. They have to. You and I both did this simultaneously on separate shows with Pat. I did it in July. You did it more recently. I had the same talking point of we need our D line to show up in the moments that it matters the most.
yep, yep.
Would you say that this happened this game?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think the Ed sack and then the Ed blow up in the backfield, right? Vaughn, Groot, like, for sure, man. Like,
Dude, fourth down, Ed Oliver sack. You
yeah,
know,
and he
they're
had the
showing up.
run stuff right before that too.
Yes, they're showing up when it completely matters the most, man. Like I, I'm watching myself with this crown on. I go like this. I'm like, what the fuck?
It is exquisite, man, and it is definitely deserved after this
It's
game.
deserving of a BK hot dog and a white
So,
Corvette.
I mean, let's talk about the D line then, right? I mean, Miami's an electric run team, right? And so you had they ran the ball, let's see, 32 times without the two scrambles. So 32 design runs, and that includes the reverses and stuff like that, right? They averaged 3.8 yards per carry. Like, I'll
Wow.
take that, right? And the long run of the night was 17 by Achan. And then
Wow.
and then
Dude, it felt like a lot more than that.
right, and then he only had 96 yards rushing, 22 carries. So he only averaged 4.4 yards. I mean, I'll take that all day, right? Like, he's their
Oh yeah.
explosive big play guy, and he didn't even have a 20-yard play. So I thought that was really impressive. And even in the passing game, he had 7 catches for 69 yards, right? Like, his long was 16 yards. Their long pass play of the night was 21 yards to Jalen Waddle. Like, against Miami, right? They had one
Yeah.
20-yard play. Like, one 20-yard play. Like, that is unbelievable. Like, we worry about their tackling, we worried about the misdirection, and
Yeah.
boy did they play tonight.
Dude, what's unbelievable about it is our roster
Yeah,
making that happen.
for sure.
Everyone, even in the pregame,
Yeah.
dude, I saw Monte Teo.
Yeah, I saw that. I
What
saw
show
that.
is what show
Well,
is he on?
he's to his boy. Like, they're close. So and he was on Miami for a little bit. So
Yeah.
that was very homerish. But yeah, he was like, they lost everybody. They got nobody left on that defense. It's a bunch of
Yes.
no names. I'm like, okay, buddy. Like,
Yeah.
all those Bills fans, like we might have some new pieces or some younger guys, but they're not nobodies. Like, geez, okay,
Yeah, and he's on Good Morning Football.
okay,
Well,
that's what it was. Good morning
maybe
football.
they take him off, dude, and maybe they pair him up with his girlfriend.
God,
So
I'm looking at
he
Fitz
just
Magic right now. Speaking of another former player
yeah,
on the
dude.
post game, that shirt is just unbelievable,
Isn't
man.
he a beauty, dude?
He is.
He's a fucking beauty.
We need to
I
get him
love
on a
that guy.
show. We need to get him on one.
Yes, we do, and maybe give him this crown.
That might
So
be too tame for him.
it might be too tame
I
for
think
him.
I'd like to talk for a second about the linebackers, just for the
Yeah,
fact of that was the point of emphasis for Bean and McDermott this offseason, right? They brought in a lot of new linebackers, um, and yeah, they that depth is really getting tested now, right? Like all
is
pro
AJ Klein
Milano's
coming in?
out, Bernard's out, right? You had Dorian Williams who's got to play, you had Spector who has to play, and that it's impressive, man, and I think that's going to be huge, huge going forward, right? We don't know how long Bernard's going to be out. We already know Milano's going to be out for at
Yep.
least probably till December, right? So that depth now is huge to have guys in the pipeline that can step up and play. And you still have Ulo, is the rookie back there, that's developing. And I think that's going to be huge. And Morrow and maybe
Dude,
Deion Jones too.
Morrow is he's gonna have to step up into a role that we didn't expect him to have to step up into. He's
Yeah,
gonna
for
have
sure.
to.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I don't want to see that like starting, with the defense, but as far as like taking special team snaps and taking some of that off the plate for Spectre now, right? Who's going to be playing all the time, and
Yes,
Dorian for sure. Like, I hope
exactly.
the next piece in is Ulo over Morrow, but I mean he's a veteran in the room, so that
I
should
know.
help. But we can
You
touch
know
on
how they
what
feel about it.
Jeffrey said for sure.
Yeah, let's talk about what Jeff's saying here. Old white Corvette hot dog eating Jeff. I know we didn't need to open the playbook, but we put up 31 with minimum output. Concerned about wide receiver production. Well, Jeff, we only put up 24.
Yeah.
7 was a pick six. I'm glad you were watching the game thoroughly. Um, Jake, concern about wide receiver production in a game like this. I have an obvious answer. Not concerned, but I want to hear your answer.
I'm not concerned. I honestly believe that this offense is not made to funnel through the wide receivers. And I like that. Like, I don't want it to funnel through a specific thing because then it makes it easier for the defense to take it away. I think it's going to be very matchup specific, whether it's going to go through the tight ends. I mean, we haven't even seen really Kincaid or Knox featured, and I think there's going to be a game where that is a Knox type game where he just shows up and has 6 catches for 80 yards, and a touchdown or something, and then
Yeah.
the running backs are going to get more heavily involved in the passing game when they need to be, and so I don't think it needs to be uh, a wide receiver centric thing, but I also think that they're capable. Like, I do think they
Oh
can.
yeah.
I think Shakir is proving to be plenty capable. I think Samuel, they're still bringing him on
Dude, he
slow with
almost
the
caught that
toe.
fucking
He
touchdown.
did, he did, and I
Oh,
think I blame that more on Josh. Josh could have made that easier throw. He held it a little too long, and yeah,
yeah,
he could have dumped it in there. So it's hard to really blame Samuel too much. That would have been an unbelievable catch. But yeah, I mean, I think there's gonna be more stuff for him like that out of the backfield, and
yeah,
I think Coleman's only gonna develop more, right? And so this really wasn't a game where we were dropping back and passing. So it's hard to really say like, oh, the wide receivers didn't show up or didn't do too much. They made the plays they needed to score the points we needed to, right? And we kind of shut it down
yeah.
after the first drive in the second half.
And you have to, go light on Jeff. His high horse for the Bills is he's reaching altitudes right now where oxygen is, dissipating.
Yeah.
This dude is having a tough time breathing on his high horse up there. His Buffalo Bills high horse is so high right now, and rightfully so. It should be. Matt's got a good little comment here. Spector going to prove that he can play, and I think they bring back Deion Jones. Jake, care to talk about Deion Jones for a second? I got to step away.
Yeah, sure. So, yeah, I mean, I think the big thing is if Bernard's going to be out a while, Spector needs to play and stay healthy. That's been the big concern. So, yeah, I think they would want to try to bring Deion Jones back. Um, his tape wasn't that great in preseason. He looks like he was a little slow. He looked better in training camp and in practices and in the earlier preseason games, but the second and third preseason games, it wasn't as good. But he knows the defense. He's a veteran. So yeah, I think that's probably their first call. But I mean, this is maybe where they start practicing Buffalo Joe, a little bit at Mike and see if he can pick that up and learn it. Morrow as well has played Mike a little bit as too. So they got guys that can do it and can step in. Um, but
So,
yeah, I imagine that is the first call is probably Dion
was
Jones.
Buffalo Joe dressed on the sideline for this game?
No, no.
So, what's the
Bishop
deal?
dressed. Uh,
He's on the practice squad, right?
no, Buffalo Joe's on the active roster, but you got to
Yeah.
sit five guys. Five guys don't dress,
Right, right, right.
so they go to 48, and so they called Bishop. Bishop dressed this game. Um,
Great segue there. You and I watching before we got live, watching the game together here, and before the season, Babbage straight up called him out and just said, it's kind of on him,
yeah,
right? It's on him to get ready. It's on him to learn the playbook. I said that tomorrow was going to be one of the starting safeties. And the reason I said it is not because he's more talented than Bishop or Edwards. He's not.
yeah,
The reason being is he's familiar with the system, and that means so much to McDermott and Babbage being a product of McDermott.
for
It
sure.
means a lot to them. He's
Yeah,
played in the system. Edwards will usurp him, and hopefully Bishop turns out to be that guy that he was at Utah. I think there's some promising things there. DeMar can't go on the whole season being the starting safety here. Did you see anything from Bishop that you were like, okay, I like that? Did you see anything there any
I mean, I think he
takeaways?
brings the element of the ball skills, the
Yeah,
coverage. He had the tight coverage in the corner of the end zone, knocked the ball away. Um, Spectre, the protector. Um, yeah, so I think I want to get some speed, back there and some range and some playmaking, right? Like I want my safeties who can turn the ball over, force some fumbles, that kind of thing. And while Rap and Hamlin have been doing a good enough job, right? Yeah, that last pass breakup was great.
we were going
He
nuts.
was yeah he turned, found the ball,
Oh, he looked
really
awesome.
really nice play. So yeah, that's the kind of stuff he can do. I just like you brought up this McDermott and Babbage defense requires safeties to do so much as far as disguising coverage and doing different alignments and dropping down in the box and doing coverage or dropping all the way back into three deep into two deep and going single high and being able to do both. And most of these guys have only been asked to do one thing, play free safety or play strong side and or play in the box. Or so it's really different when you got to do all of it. And that's why they like guys who've been corners before as well, because they ask a lot of their safeties to also, man up a lot. And in their different looks, when they bring pressure, they'll bring a safety down in the box and they'll have them take a running back or a wide receiver. And so it's tough to just throw a guy in there. Who hasn't done a lot of different things. I
Yeah,
think that's why a lot of people thought Edwards was going to start, right? Because he's been around the block, been in different defenses,
yeah.
um, and I think the injuries really slowed him. So I think you bring up a good point. Is it a matter of time before he comes in? Um, it was great to see this game where both safeties looked like they played pretty disciplined. I can't wait to watch all 22, but it wasn't like you were seeing guys streaking down the field, right? Like so that was nice. They kept the top on the defense, but I do worry about their ability to make plays, right? Like they were really slow to trigger last week. I want to watch this week and see how quick they're to get over. You don't see them breaking up passes, right? You don't see them getting over and
Right.
and getting over in time, to give help. And so that's kind of what I worry about is teams that can take advantage of that.
And do you think, just kind of tailing off that, do you think Miami just saw that our corners and safeties, basically our whole secondary, working together in a way that was not allowing them to do what they wanted, and saw some weakness in our linebackers, so they started running the ball more? Do you think that that was what their idea was? I mean, they were down, 1, 2, and then 3 scores at one point, still pounding the rock. Like, what was up with that?
So it's tough because it's the Shanahan type system, right? So
Yeah.
I mean, they run the ball no matter what because that's where a lot of their explosives come in, and then they'll run action off that, and a lot of misdirection, and a lot of play action off those runs. So, but when you got a guy like Achan, right, it takes one cut, and you hope
Yeah.
he can break one. So it's tough to knock them for that. I also think they're really are worried about their pass protection. Um, and rightfully so. That offensive line isn't great, and then Terran Armstead got hurt, and then their left guard got hurt, and um, and then we took over. So I do think that was a concern. They didn't want to get into a deep drop game with Tua back there. So um, I think it says a lot about the coverage. Like that's what I can't wait to watch. Like how were they throwing off the timing? Like I saw some press coverage with bumping on the line of scrimmage and trying to bump them off their spots, and then they were sliding. The linebackers were doing really good job taking up lanes and throwing off the
Yep.
timing, and so I really want to see that. But yeah, I don't think anything was there deep, and so it was forcing them to go short. And when you got a guy like Achan, you could just dump it off to him, right, or Waddle or Hill, like and then they 12 yards, 8 yards, 10 yards. You don't really have to throw it down the field, but the game flipped with the turnovers, right? And then us
Oh,
scoring
yeah.
and like you said, you get down 17 points, 21 points, you got to start getting some quicker scores. And I just think that's credit to Babbage, man, and the adjustments he's been making have been fantastic. It looks like a little struggle, the first couple plays, the first maybe drive,
Yeah.
but then they start making adjustments, and
Dude, the Bills always look like that, though.
for sure
Always.
under McDermott they always have, right?
It's like they come out in, like, this, like, false shell
Yeah, yeah,
of what
yeah,
their defense is gonna be, and they
yeah,
wanna see what you're gonna do, and then they make adjustments after it,
yeah.
and it's like, how soon can they make those adjustments that make the impact?
Yeah, and
That's
part of
where
that
it's
is part of that is like the offense too is scripting plays, to get the defense to do certain things, right? And
right.
so if your defense is overreacting too much or your defense is doing too much in that scripted time period, it kind of is advantage offense because then they see the looks they want, right? And you reacted to those looks. So now we kind of got you type thing. And
Yeah,
so maybe that's something they try to do where they just stay, pretty vanilla, pretty base and let them,
yeah.
run through those plays, and then then they start building in their counters to that. So that's a good
Concede
point.
that first touchdown, maybe even,
Right, for
to
sure, they do
not
that a lot
show
of
that.
games, right? They give up a lot of early touchdown drives.
Yep. Classic, classic. Um, so we talked about the offense. We talked about the rookies a little bit more of the rookies. I kind of expected a little bit more Ray Davis,
Yeah, yeah,
and maybe that's just me, leaning too much in the fantasy realm of football itself. I just thought, let's not wear James Cook out.
for sure.
And
Like third quarter, you're talking, right? Like when they were up 21.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
Ty Johnson is a very capable back, especially,
yeah.
obviously. Hey, did Ty Johnson take all of the third down snaps?
Mm, mm, I'm not sure because
Dude, it had to have been
he
close.
had one carry and he had the one target. Um, but Cook was in for like the fourth down one, and he was in for another third down one. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I mean,
Running that room, I
Cook
think,
only had
has to be
11
a stout.
carries. I think the game kind of looked a little different than we thought as far as like
Oh yeah.
right, like Cook only carried the ball 11
Oh
times.
yeah.
Ray Davis ended up with 9 carries. A lot of that was the garbage stuff, but
Was it really?
Yeah, he had 9 carries for 29 yards, so 3.2
4 of
average,
them
but
had to have been in the 4th quarter, right?
yeah, I think the majority of them were in the 4th quarter, and
Yeah.
I mean, I liked what I saw. That's tough running, man, when they're loading the box like that and you're
Oh,
still getting
yeah.
positive yardage, right? And so, but I just think I don't think it was a game to, like, work him in early, right? Cook's, scoring left and right, like,
Yes.
Cook averaged 7 yards a carry.
Yep.
So I'm thinking it's more a game script, and I think Ty they didn't want to run him, right? I think he's still got the knee that's a little nicked up. Um, so I don't know. I'd like to see it in another game. Matt, that's a great point. Yeah, Josh is 7-0 on Thursday
12 and
night
1
games.
against the Dolphins, baby.
That's just crazy, man. Just crazy.
12 and 1 against the Dolphins last 13 games.
Yeah,
Dude, I haven't even gotten on Twitter to even
right. I know. It's like, man, the next couple days are just gonna be beautiful, right? It's just like,
Dude,
soak it
I
in.
I like I said to start the show, dude, hand up. I thought they were gonna kick our ass, and
I didn't think they were gonna kick our ass. It's not. We don't get our ass kicked, right? Like that's why I posted in the room for you
that's
because
true. That's true.
you said we were gonna lose by 7, and you were talking like it was gonna be like look worse. We might score later, but
Yeah.
we're 43 straight games now, right? By not losing by more than 6 points, like
Hang on. Say that louder.
43 straight games.
43 straight games
Yeah,
not losing by 6 points or more
yeah.
in the NFL.
Yeah, it's insane, man. It gets lost, and I think that's a Josh Allen metric, right? Like, yes, it's a McDermott, and but that's a Josh Allen metric, right? Like, there's a lot of
Dude.
quarterbacks. Like, look at Tua tonight, right? Like, you throw those picks. Like, what he didn't do anything positive to put points on the board. You know that,
No.
right?
Dude,
And
Tua looked horrible.
Josh hasn't had a game like that since. Even look at the Jets game, the first
Yeah.
game last year, right? Like he still made plays and put up points, and kept us in it, gave us a chance, right? But uh, yeah,
Dude,
I think that's a
Tua
testament to
looked like the
Josh
moment was too big for him
for
to
sure.
start the game.
For sure. And the pregame talk, and even Mike McDaniel was like, yeah, that this is our time. Like we got to step up, and that they've been coming in here and beating us, and I think this was a turning point for Tua and in the off season and our team, and we became more
Hey,
vocal and
it
focused.
is a turning point. Just
Man, I
not
know
in the
it's tough
way.
talking about him because I just feel terrible, but.
I know, I know. I mean, listen, he walked off. I'm
But
hoping
why?
they,
Like, where's the golf cart? Like, why are you making the dude? That's like the ultimate walk of shame. Like,
dude, he
I,
threw
I didn't
2 picks,
understand that at
dude. I
all,
don't
dude.
care what's going on. You need to walk this off.
Right, right. Like, geez, man, what a bad
Yeah,
look to make him walk. Like,
gosh. And
ugh.
how about L. Michaels coming in? Damar Hamlin, the guy that had the bad injury, now delivering the bad injury.
Right, right, right. And like, yeah, like, there's not. What did Demar do? I don't know. Like that was all Tua diving headfirst
Dude,
into
Tua
Demar. Like,
ran into him. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah. So
oh my gosh. So
yeah,
it's just headlines galore there.
for sure, for sure.
Check this sheet, man. Check this sheet. What else is we talked about the bets, Cook anytime touchdown,
Yeah,
plus 150, Ed Oliver for a sack, plus 200.
yeah.
Did you personally, Jake, have anything positive game script wise in your gambling account?
I did. I did. I took, the whole not losing by more than 6. I took Buffalo, plus 5.5 because they were being generous. And then I took the under 50.
There you go.
I was sweating it a little bit, and then once 2 went out, I kind of
Yeah,
figured
dude,
that
when you're seeing
that
that
was done.
halftime score on
Right,
pace
for
for
sure.
64 points.
Right, and you're like, "Man, we gotta keep scoring." They're gonna hit their 1 or 2, big plays. I'm just
Yep.
waiting for it. So, yeah, that was a little sweat, but that was a nice hit. And then I
Yep.
hit the Tua scramble with Ray Davis, a James Cook anytime, and a clear Khalil Shakir over 4.5 and 40
Ching.
yards. So yeah, it was a pretty good little night for me. Nothing,
Love it.
nothing big money, but it was a good night. Good night.
Love it, dude. Love it.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, Matt, I agree with you. Like, look for Tua, man. He was contemplating retirement last one. you got to think it's coming up again, and yeah, you just can't mess around with concussions, especially big
No,
like that. You can't mess around.
dude, and like I said before, they played that montage of all the times that he's
Yeah,
taking
dude.
these hits,
Yeah.
and
Well,
you
they didn't
almost
even count the one against us. They didn't,
no, they
the one that.
showed it.
Yeah, but they show it, but they don't count that as a full concussion or whatever. I think they said it was like
That's
the pinch
insane.
nerve thing. Remember, like there was that whole controversy because then the next week he was able to play and he had the
Dude,
concussion again. Yeah,
this is
because
Billy Bob Tonga at this point.
I don't want to laugh, but I don't know how else not to, man. Like it's
Well, I mean, hey, that's innocent. The guy walked off. I mean, I'm not,
right, for sure.
hey, we got some added guests coming to the
Let's see
stage.
how this works. Whoa, there it is. That worked.
What's up, lads? How we doing?
There he is. How's it
You're
going,
in.
buddy?
Ooh, what have we already covered here?
What haven't we covered
What
here?
haven't we?
What's your high and low from offense and
Peek in
defense?
the pit. We already doing the peek in the pit. Can
Yeah,
you guys
we'll
hear
do
me
the
okay?
peek in the pit. We haven't done that yet. We've kind of just hit everything all over, man. Just spraying.
Well, before I go to the peek in the pit here, prayers.
Yeah, we're literally just talking about him when you came.
Yeah.
What I saw, and I'm not a medical doctor. What I saw was the fencing response.
Yeah.
For anybody not not familiar with the fencing response, that is wow. Look at that nice little line.
I know. I'm working on it.
That's not much better there. No.
There you go.
Wow, really? You're gonna do me like that?
Very good.
Well, it's going off the rails real quick.
Hey,
Yep.
I can do this.
It's all good.
It's all right. Throw me in the
We'll
corner.
make it work.
There we go. I'll make it work. Go ahead, talk, Brady. There we go. We're good.
Oh yeah. So what I saw was the fencing effect. And basically just in watching a ton of college football, watching a ton of professional football, anytime you see a basically an unwelcomed blow to the cranium, you'll see the body's natural response to protect itself.
Yeah.
And with that, to protect itself, it's hands up. And that is just a natural response. I tweeted it out and I saw it with my own two eyes. That's what you got with Tua.
Yeah, and it wasn't even like that crazy of a hit. I know it was the crown of his helmet onto DeMar's bicep or whatever, right? But it wasn't like his head went back or helmet to helmet or so that kind of worries me too, as far as like, is he becoming more susceptible to them or
and I'm not a medical doctor.
right. He
What
stayed
I've
at a
always,
Holiday Inn Express last night.
yeah, which is basically me farting too much and my wife moving to the couch. But to move quickly past, we never. Oh yeah, what are you cracking?
Yeah, nice. What do you got there? You got to show everyone now.
Just the King's Brew.
All right.
Very good. What we got here?
Brady, I
Where
saw
am I
you
going
in the
now?
goblet there, and I was like, I need a refill.
We got Maddie here. Maddie looks like he's probably adjusting our stuff.
I think he is.
But I watched the game and as soon as we saw that fencing effect, heart goes out. Never rooting for injury, no matter
for sure. Yep.
no matter what side of the division you're on, what side of the conference you're on, no matter what side of humanity you're on. Never rooting for injury, our guys. So peek in the pit. I'll start with the pit. We looked utterly unprepared for pre-snap aggressive fast motion. Almost like what I used to say with Dable, jet sweep season. You know what I'm talking about? The
like the Tyreek and Waddle motion. Yeah.
And one of those things is it went off tackle for a bunch. It went slashing inside tackle for a bunch. But it looked like we had absolutely no adjustments for that type of movement. Now, what could that mean? No adjustments means we're definitely not playing man, because you would see a pass off slide and you would see, a dedicated positional movement of our men inside the box. So when you didn't see that, that means we're not playing a tight end man, which is interesting and also predictable because how do you man Tyreek with our
Well, the
you know,
Jags played, I think, like 70+% man against Miami last week. So, I mean, granted, we don't have the same type of corners, right? But
well
it was
maybe
just interesting to see a completely different
yeah,
shift.
maybe Bobby Badgett saw on tape in the all 22 like, Jake, I know you crushed. Maybe
Yeah.
he decided that's who we don't want to be is
Yeah.
get caught up in the rigmarole of playing man and playing shift defense. So, and also, we didn't want with our decimated kind of positionally in the box, we didn't feel like we had our best men covering their best men. Like
Yeah.
I definitely don't want to see anyone less athletic than Tyreek Hill covering Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
And I think that's
And,
saying
and then you get Rasul Douglas on Tyreek Hill. Like,
Yeah.
I love Rasul Douglas. Don't get me wrong, right? But I don't want to see Rasul Douglas running down the field with Tyreek Hill, right? Like, that is
correct.
not a
And
matchup.
correct. And what you see there is Rasul Douglas is probably categorically the most equipped to cover
Right,
Tyreek Hill.
right. It's just from
But
pure
that does
skills.
not mean
Yeah.
he should be covering
Right,
Tyreek Hill.
right. Yep.
So that's my pit. Is
Yep.
I didn't think we had a ton of answers.
Well, question for you though. I got a question for
Sure.
you on the
Yeah,
pit though.
absolutely.
Do you think that was part of the just like the give and take? Like you can't do everything. You can't try to stop everything. So do we just let them do
Oh
those
yeah.
motions and let them do everything behind the line of scrimmage, and then we rally and tackle, and we'll give up the 6, the 8, the 10-yard runs, but we're not letting them get down the field. Like, I feel like that was the concerted effort. Do not let anything down the field. We will rally and tackle. But I think that's why you didn't see any adjustments to that and
Because
worrying
we
about trying
don't
to
have
stop
the
it.
athletes.
Right. No, totally. And I think that's like you got to kind of sacrifice somewhere, right? So let's take, you know, let's not take any risk in trying to stop it. Let's just try to prevent it from being like explosive plays. And like I
In
said,
the
they
words
didn't
of my
have
cousin
explosive
Vinny,
plays.
in the words of my cousin Vinny and Joe Pesci, I'm done with this guy. You're witness. That's a perfect. That's perfect. I think yes, that's where my sentiments and my takeaway lie.
Okay. Yeah, no,
I
I
don't
think
think we
that's right.
wanted
Though, yeah.
to. I don't think we wanted to get into that game
Yep.
because
No.
when you get into that game, it takes away positionally, in theory and in scheme, it takes away from something else.
Yep. For
You
sure.
know,
Yep.
it also, like I said before, like Rasul Douglas, probably the most equipped person to play one-on-one man with Tyreek, but it's not the answer. But that's what we
Yeah.
got.
Yeah.
Yeah,
In terms,
and go ahead.
go ahead. No. Keep going. I like this.
I was just gonna say, like, speaking of the coverage part, I mean, like, Tyreek had 3 for 24 and Jalen Waddle had 4 for 41. Like, I
The
mean,
balls
you'll
weren't
take
there.
that all day, right? Like, all day.
I do think that is tethered together with the insane big cat paws up, right? We and Matt talk about it all the time. Big cat paws up,
Yeah.
because you get one of those, the separation, not letting anyone get to the chest, get to the numbers and control you. You get a paw up that is as good as another 3 steps on a wide receiver.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have to contort a ball where he's going to have to go get it, not get it delivered to him.
Yeah.
So I think the big cat paw was big.
Yeah.
In terms of the peak, let me hear your guys' peaks because I have a few and I don't want to repeat.
Or do you want our pits?
Yeah, let me get the pits. Let me
I mean,
smell
my
those
pit was
dogs.
on defense. Since we're starting on defense, it's got to be the Bernard injury, man. Like, that's just brutal. I'm hoping it's not long term, but I mean, if it's a pec, there's not really a short term pec injury. So that's got to be my pit on defense.
I do think that's probably one of the last games in the foreseeable future you're going to see Joe Andreessen inactive.
Right, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, we talked about that. Like, I wonder how much they're going to start cross training him in the middle, to Mike.
Oh, he
Because
already
they got to cross train someone.
I
over
mean,
to
like you don't make a roster like that on the bubble.
Well, they
without-
started him at Mike, right, and then they switched him to
He
to
didn't have a lot of
Will.
success with Mike.
Yeah,
I
for sure.
did not see a lot of success. He gets eaten up in play action a little bit too much.
Yep.
And
Yep.
he is kind of. I don't like that he starts every play with his hands on his knees. I think that's wasted motion.
Yeah, and his first action's forward. I don't like
Yes.
that. I do not like that. Like, from my Mike, I'm sorry.
Well, when
Unless you know for sure what's coming, right? Like, if you're Keekly, if you're Even Bernard does it too, but they know what play is coming. You know,
Right. He's going to get his first sniff of NFL action. I think he's got to get in that film room and take it seriously that you're going to be an integral part, because it's hard to play. Now it's going to be even harder to play that Mike position, knowing that your other two counterparts are playing out of position.
Yeah.
Well, and Spector's only going to last so long, right? I mean,
I
imagine he's your starter.
I don't root for injury.
Right. But we're going by track record.
Past performance might. Yeah. If we're going off past performance, that is a solid premise that this is going to be an integral week and a long week.
Yeah, good point.
A good long week, so maybe this isn't the thing. So, Jesse, what's your pit, real quick?
So my pit, and after a game like this, it's kind of hard to find a pit.
Right.
Obviously you and Jake, bigger football minds than I am as far as the analytics go, and just knowing, salt of the game type of guy that you are, Brady. But I like to see, my pit was kind of Joe Brady's play calling still. Some key opportunities in the game. I thought Brady could have dialed up something a little bit different. I got some notes here. The 3rd and 2 horrible play call that we had
before the 4th down, right? Before the 4th, where they scored the touchdown. Okay.
Before we threw that touchdown to Cook, I just, you talk about the bomb to MVS on 3rd down again.
Yep.
I just situationally, it just didn't feel like the right spot for that. I thought we were eating them over the middle, something like a sit down route with Shakir, maybe even find the sideline with Coleman. I think Joe Brady's still trying to catch his rhythm a little bit. I do feel like he called a pretty good game, but if I'm going to critique at all, that's my one critique that kind of stuck out a little bit. That's kind of my pit.
Do you think we limited some of our 3rd down options with not trying to exasperate Josh to do too much or put him in a precarious situation with that hand?
100%. Yeah. And that's why this one was kind of tough for me, and put an asterisk next to it. Right. I do think it is all of that. I do. You got to protect the guys, and we're cruising in this game, and all the momentum's going towards us. Why not, to, play devil's advocate on myself? Why not take that shot to MVS? Why not? I get that. I want to see them, put the knee on the neck. Right. I wanted to see that. And they never ended up getting there. They got to, where they wanted to get in their eyes. I wanted more. I wanted to see them put the knee on the neck, put the Dolphins out of the misery. This is our rival right now for the division, dude. Put them down, put them out.
I think you do that through clock management.
Yeah.
I think that's why that play call was disappointing, right? Is because
that's kind of where I'm going with that.
Right. Like, where's a tunnel screen to a wide receiver? Where's that flare out to Kincaid? Like, even a Knox one. Like, there's plenty of plays you could have run for short yardage that, are more high percentage than that. Like, I just don't like the idea. Go ahead.
Tunnel screen never occurred to me, just because if he has to pull that down, he's pulling it down for a draw run.
Right.
Which is not.
I think that's not this script for this game, though. It was with his hand, right? Sure, but I'm waiting for the action off of that, right? Like, they've shown that look a lot with the tunnel screens, and I'm waiting for the blocker, Hollins or whoever, to go and fake the block and do a wheel or go up the sideline, right? Like, that's your shot play.
Jalen Ramsey getting caught flat.
We talked about that.
Ty Johnson.
yeah, Ty Johnson got him.
That is a check down. That is a check down leak back that turned into a 9 route.
Yo, that was sick.
Good.
We were ecstatic about it. We were talking about it earlier, and we were talking about how many 3rd downs Ty Johnson came in, and I like our backfield a lot, man.
Yeah,
I like
why
I like the diversity in our backfield. I like what all 3 of the guys can bring to it. It feels like all 3 can hit a hole. It also feels like all 3 can catch a ball and run a route. That's going to be huge. Being able to interject these guys, kind of seamlessly throughout the season in case anything happens. You never know. It's a long season. We want all these guys to be healthy at the end. But having the ability to have all 3 of these guys kind of do the same thing, I think that's great for our backfield, man.
And I trust all of them in a play breakdown that they have the ability and the confidence to go play football, go get open.
Yeah.
I did ask Coach Fuller to come on. He's not doing well.
I was gonna say he's a Dolphins fan, right?
A massive Dolphins fan.
Yeah, man, that's
he knows
tough.
the X's and O's better than I do.
I wouldn't want to come on either with the Tua thing.
No,
like,
but
that
he ain't no chicken. So how do you think this alters gambling lines, both of you guys? Bills,
Go ahead.
where are we going to see them open them up for AFC East favorites as well as taking the chip?
Well, they're going to overreact. Whichever way the casino took more money,
I think they're going to bait some people. They're going to bait some people to take a line.
Exactly. Whichever way that they're short, they're gonna make that other side look a little more appealing to kind of get some of that back. Perfect spot.
Can you explain what you mean by short?
What's that?
Can you explain to the audience what you mean by short?
Yeah. So let's just say that they took a ton of money on
the balance sheet.
Bills. They took a ton of money on the Bills. No. For the example, they took a ton of money on the Dolphins to win it. Well, right now the Bills, they're gonna shorten the Bills' odds, or vice versa. They're gonna try, and the casinos want even action. That's what they want. That's where
they want a perfect hedge.
That's it, man. That's it. They're hedging their bets. They're gonna do it. Don't overreact, man. It's week 2. We talked about this on No One to Blame on Monday. Don't overreact to week 1. It's only week 2. Let's still not overreact, dude. It's a long season. We saw what happened last year. Don't get caught up in all this. Now, the Tua injury, it's a little different than we just went in there and beat them. So the Tua injury is there's some real line movement there, and I don't know what it's going to be, but it's going to be impactful. That's
right, because you're not thinking like, oh, it's a long week, and he might be able to start their next game, right? Like we're thinking like, no, it's looking real likely that he might be done, like, or at least multiple weeks. Right?
Implications of player futures, Tyreek Hill receiving yards, Jalen Waddle.
Oh, great point. I didn't even think of that. Yeah.
Everything is impacted right now. Yeah. The casinos are up right now because no one's taking unders on these props. Everyone's
who's taking under on Tyreek Hill?
No one is.
Short.
He's too short.
Life's too short.
Too short.
Jake, I see you nodding. I'm assuming that you are in agreement with Jesse's sentiment about everything you just said.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I always say, like, if you're gonna bet an early line, like if you had, the Bills to win the division or Josh Allen to win MVP or whatever, right? Like, you wanna keep betting that throughout the season as odds shift in your favor, right? Like, and the book's gonna do the same thing. Like, they're shifting the odds so they can hedge their bets, right? And so you want to do the same.
It's called dollar cost averaging.
Right, exactly. So like that's what I was saying. If you thought Josh had a chance to win MVP, you better be betting him in the offseason. And then if we would have lost week 1, you better be betting it again, right? And so that's kind of the same thing. Like if you bet the Dolphins, like you almost want to, wait, and then when their odds drop, you might want to bet them again just to, change your odds or make your odds better if you think they're still got a chance.
To your point, Jake, you got to be ahead of the market. If you're constantly chasing the lines that Vegas are posting week after week after week, exactly. you're just falling right into their trap.
Sure.
Yep. You need to have some kind of leg up, which is almost impossible nowadays, but there's value to be had.
Well, the Jets, right? The Jets are your perfect example, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
You love the Jets, right? You bet them before the season. They get, their butt kicked Monday night against the 49ers. Well, guess what? Tuesday, Wednesday, you should have been betting them again because the odds, I guarantee, would have gotten longer. And 1 week shouldn't change your opinion of them, right? Without, Aaron Rodgers tearing his Achilles again. But
yeah, and if you listen to any of our future shows, I put out Dolphins to miss the playoffs. It was like a plus 140 number.
Oh, jeez.
That number is going to be what, minus 150 now?
Minus 110?
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
Well, exactly. And you thought they're over under wins too, right? What was it? Was it 10.5?
They were at 9.5.
They want to put something. They want to put something sexy out, so those guys that captured they captured the plus 145 see like, oh, I can get this. I can get out for almost unch. That's the trader in me.
That's it. Dude. No, you're 100% right, Brady. Yeah, Brady. So your opinion on this, being the trader. Maybe hit on it a little bit on that side of it, get a little more analytical on it. I know you're just going to maybe repeat everything we said, but.
Yeah, I mean, with some of these, this is going to be a drastic line move. You know, so but you already knew that betting the AFC East. It's a delta. It's called a delta move. The delta is the rate of the change of the underlying, and the delta of the delta is the gamma. And in the gamma is kind of your book of business. And they're going to hedge probably their book of business. Is when I say they, I mean Vegas. They're going to kind of with the delta swing. What happened tonight? They're going to be focused on the gamma, which is the amount of people who bet the prop AFC East, Miami, whatever it is. What is going to be the rate of change of the people that are going to change their bet? So there are all different Greeks with this. There's going to be theta involved. Now that we're 2 weeks into the season, there is time decay. You get rewarded if pre-week one, say like the first preseason game, you get rewarded because there's not a ton of theta, time decay on your bet. If you have 18 games in front of you, you have 18 opportunities to pursue or to achieve the end result. Now, if we get to week 16 and the Bills are a clear-cut AFC East winner, there is a ton of theta on that, or time decay, because you only have 2 games left. So that'll be priced in, and it'll be less juicy. So while we're still dealing with a ton of theta, you will see the delta priced in, the gamma, which is the rate of change of the delta, and you'll see theta, the time decay, as we just completed another NFL week season. So that is the trading analysis of this. If it flew over some people's heads, I know Tilt Money, from the air raids, he's not to out him, he's an incredible trader. He kind of knows that. Greg Tomset, who he deals in his professional.
I think like so
thing.
give a real example though. So week 2's not over, right? So you still have the Jets to play and New England, right? Let's say the Jets go out and win, look good this week, right? And win.
The
and then
theta
you
will stay the same.
Right.
The time decay will stay the same because they are still they're 1 week closer to the end valuation.
Right.
So the theta will stay the same. The theta will be the same for anyone. The only way it'll change off. The only way it'll change off is if there's a clear result, as in, I don't know, the Bucks don't make the playoffs, or they're 1 game out or something like that. Then the theta becomes a deviation, or a third delta.
But the only way the odds don't swing massively is if the Jets or New England win this weekend. If they look good again, like New England looks good again, or the Jets bounce back and look good and win, I don't think the line shifts like too crazy to Buffalo.
It will, because with not crazy, and don't think of it as shifting to Buffalo with the Dolphins.
Right.
Just think of the net result of your bet. If you bet the Dolphins winning the AFC East, it's not necessarily the Bills winning, but the more clear cut the Bills are, the delta actually decreases because that'll be priced in with the net with the net alpha. Yeah, you guys are getting bored, but it's all Black-Scholes volatility, and unfortunately, people are going to be like, "Yo, student actually like knows something."
You got to get back to talking about football, dude. Yeah, get back to talking about football.
Yeah, I'm not sure Jake knows I had a real job. I just fulfilled merch requests all day.
Yes.
No, yeah.
And paint.
No, I'm not the painter. That's not me.
So, where the hoodies at, dude? The people want to know.
Yeah,
I did. I did.
I want to be rocking one right now, man.
Yo, I did text E Wood during the game. Did you see where they put him?
They put him in the corner?
Yeah, they put Baby in the corner.
Oh no.
And I was like, hey, just so you know, maybe we have that conversation with Derek Poykin, the head of communications at the Bills. Maybe we put you in the 300 level by the old Belarus clock tower. Maybe that's a nice little comfy spot for you. You know? But he texted me right back during the game. I'm like, wow, guess the booth isn't that
right.
That's
intense
the way this game is headed. So, but how did you think we managed hydration and kind of the elements? Do you think we got a scorching sample set last year, and that was a heavy element to our preparation, especially when we're going to have some backups in, and everyone needs to be on the same level?
Dude, it was pouring before the game, and someone that lives in Charleston, South Carolina, that's going to take the humidity and the heat.
Yep, brutal.
Pretty much right out of it. The humidity comes right back, but dude, a night game in Miami with that rain beforehand, I don't think there was much to really prepare for, dude. And I think they probably went over and above on the electrolytes, so they don't have what happened. However, it was 2 years ago in the start of the season in the day game Miami, where Dorsey threw his iPad. They weren't going to let that happen again, but I don't think the elements were right for Miami to truly have that home advantage this time.
So Fuller is like, I went to bed, and that's also what the Dolphins did today. What is?
Wow.
And I'll leave you
Hey,
guys.
I got one for you.
Yeah, please.
How about our boy Alec? Man, came in 6th O-line. They did the. It looked
Did you
like
see him on the show on Sunday?
Yeah, he was on the show on Sunday, and then he comes in tonight, and they brought him in. I think he did a duo combo block. It looked like.
Who are you? That's exactly.
Yeah, right. And then Cook goes right off his back.
They ran 7 take.
Boom. Dusted Poyer to the edge. Touchdown.
That's a bad flat foot angle from Poyer.
Yeah, it was. Poyer got sucked way too.
How many times have we watched that happen in the past 2 or 3 years?
For sure.
What?
He did that against was it Derek or Brees Hall? I think it was.
No, wrong.
It was Brees Hall last year that
you
got
believe that, Jesse? I thought Poyer played fearlessly in rocking down in the box, and I saw complete hesitation and age for the first time. Clear-cut age.
Yeah, he was definitely slow there for sure.
That's what I'm saying. I thought he looked slow.
Yeah, he looked really slow.
I thought he took a horrible angle.
He did take a bad angle. It was pretty flat.
Well, it's hard to take a good angle when you're just flat out of position.
Well, and, I mean, Cook's not that slow though either. But
sure.
Still.
Maybe I'm just more, overzealous because I was.
Well, that actually works to our argument is that it's predicated that Cook is not slow.
Yeah.
You know the angle you need to take.
Right.
Yes.
No, but Poyer looked slow last year.
On that defense.
He looked slow last year, and he looked pretty slow week 1. So I don't know. I mean,
all right. Did you guys finish the peaks or no? Then I'm gonna get out of here.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, we're good. See you.
So for Alec.
Yeah, dude.
Vandemark was inactive again. It is so clear cut who our 6 offensive line.
Yeah, dude. And I mean, rightfully so, right? Last week, really good blocking. And then this week, I mean, obviously, right? I mean, that play doesn't happen without him sealing that. So
the Bills are telling us that he could play tackle, guard, and we knew during OTAs and stuff like that he was in center meetings.
So, do you think it's because Vandemark they see him strictly as the backup right tackle, and not versatile? Because I know. Like they tried him on the left, right, and he wasn't near as good as he was on the right. He's gotten better on the right, but with Alec, I mean they've moved him all 5 spots, right? And so is that why they value that? And then obviously the 6th lineman, you kind of got to be able to go inside as well as outside, right? Like that block, he was inside of Torrance, right? Like so. Is that why you think he's the 6th man because he can do that? He's used to being inside.
He did play. He did play a bit of tackle in college at UCLA.
Yeah,
I implore you to turn on the USC UCLA film.
There we go, Jake.
There you go. I got some homework.
Yeah. Oh, dude, it's not homework. It's a masterclass finishing blocks and just as I told him on the podcast when we saw him, the nasty.
Yeah.
Just absolutely just he's so daring within scheme that he's not going to play it as a backup. And Diger just said the nasty. Also, just kind of getting like a little touchy feely when I hugged him. Seriously, when I hugged
was he a solid slab of beef?
A slim. Solid.
Yeah.
And I saw him just the face was trim and stuff like that.
He did look trim.
Hey, he looks athletic.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is completely correct. I think he is probably our best backup tackle. He's our best backup guard. And in a pinch, he needs to be. I mean, who else is going to play center?
Well, SVPG, but
was he even active?
Yeah.
He was. Yeah, he came in the 4th.
He came in the 4th, yeah. Snapped.
Good. Yeah. I mean, the best part is, man, to see him at dinner, and I just sat with him for like a couple seconds.
Yeah.
Dude, he's beaming.
Yeah, he's excited.
He's beaming.
Yeah. He's
I watched the
playing.
interview, man.
Well,
For
I
a
mean,
guy
if
with,
you're
like, no
if you're not
guaranteed
going to
play
start
time.
though, right? If you're not going to start, at least they got him in there with real plays, right? He gets to come in and actually affect the game. Like, I mean, look at
He had his
tonight.
helmet. He had his helmet on for almost the whole game.
Yeah,
Just that focus and that like turnstile realization that like you are one high ankle sprain or one Deion Dawkins cut to the hand. But I think
Yeah.
it's so clear cut that he's our 6th offensive lineman.
I would be interested though to see if a Dion injury, like if he would go in. I'm interested to see if Grable would go like that specific position. But like right tackle, like he might be the first guy in, or obviously the guard spots. But
I
I would
saw
be interested in that.
I saw Spencer borrow so many Deion Dawkins moves today.
He had a really good game from what I saw. Really good. He had that
baiting
one.
the D end, baiting the D end to crutch, and then the
He had the
pound
snatch grab. Yep, he did. It was that was like real early in the game too.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, great job on all of you guys. Hey, Jake, see you soon. Oh man, Jesse, I hope I see you soon too. We're gonna have some fun. We have
We're
some
golfing
good stuff.
Sunday morning, right? We're golfing.
Yeah, I think we're going to Arrowhead.
Okay.
I got golf with I got golf with A. Will Saturday. Rest in peace. Rest in peace, everything. Hey, guys.
Good to be
seen. Later, boy.
Always entertaining.
Always entertaining for my guy Student, man. That dude, man, that guy knows ball, huh?
Yeah, you want to do a quick like look ahead and then we'll wrap it up. But like, going forward, I mean, what do you see like from this team? Are your expectations changed? Offense, defense? Like, what are your overarching thoughts? Right.
For me personally, I thought this was a good spot for Miami. We talked about it earlier in the show. So with what we just did, this team is not going to get too high in themselves. They're not going to smell their own shit. They just won't. We've been in high leverage spots in the playoffs for several years. I think this might be the Josh Allen revenge tour that we've been waiting for. We are completely counted out, and we just made a statement. That's a statement game.
Yeah.
I feel really good about that. Now, next game is at home to Jacksonville, Monday Night Football.
Yep.
Electric.
That's a big spot.
Environment.
Right. That's a big spot. Like you can't have a letdown now.
How are you feeling about that?
I worry about Jacksonville. I think it's we just play them weird. I think Trevor
always
right, and Trevor's kind of a weird quarterback for us because he can make all the throws, and traditionally McDermott has liked to light him up in key downs, like third down. He blitzes him heavy, like cover zero, stuff like that, and that plays right into Trevor's wheelhouse because he's not good off script. I don't think. I think if you make him get to his second, third read, kind of like Tua, he struggles a little and he kind of panics a little and he gets less accurate. But if he can sit there and lock in on somebody, or even he's good at manipulating too. He'll look off, but he kind of still knows where he wants to go.
Yeah,
he's good, man. And so when we blitz him like that, he's kind of diced us up a little bit in key moments. Yeah, no, that's a good point. They don't have Ridley. Gabe's
Ridley
looked pretty good.
It was his safety blanket, Jake.
Yeah, Gabe's looked pretty good in the intermediate routes for him.
They did. I think more importantly,
Brian Thomas.
Brian Thomas is wide receiver 1 on that team.
He looked pretty good.
He has usurped Christian Kirk. He is wide receiver 1 on that team.
I haven't even seen Christian Kirk's name pop
exactly.
up.
No one has. So. Now, and they also have ETN. I just,
For sure. And the emergence of Bigsby too. You got to mention him because
dude, I can't get a read on this cat, dude. He rushes for like 1.9 yards a carry last year, whatever crazy stat it was. Yeah. And then all of a sudden last week he went 9 for like 60.
I think it was 10 for 70.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Right.
So
there was a lot of buzz about him too, like pre-draft and then in the preseason, and then he laid an egg last year.
They're gonna want to run the ball. We know that, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Now, is it a coaching mismatch, Peterson to McDermott? We need to look at that.
Yeah.
They've had our number, dude.
For sure.
They've had our number. I want to see our defense.
Well, yeah, but the one loss was against Urban Meyer, so It's really only been one Peterson game, right? It was the London Peterson game because the other year we lost
2 years ago?
was yeah, was in Jacksonville, right? Wasn't that Urban Meyer? We were the like
Oh
one of
my
the teams
god,
who
was that
lost them.
Urban Meyer?
Yeah, dude, we lost to Urban Meyer.
Oh, no wonder our fingers smelled weird after the game.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway,
So I don't know, man. It's a hard like. I just don't want to see a letdown. I don't want to see a stinker at home. It's a big game, like
hey, what did Matt say earlier? Josh is 7-0.
yeah, on Thursday nights. But he's good in he's good at night games. I love Josh in a night game. Prime time. I
In
think that
Buffalo?
helps a lot. Right, right. I
Weird.
love that more than like a Sunday
Hey,
1 o'clock
we lost in Jacksonville, we lost in London, we got them in Buffalo.
for sure.
You know
Night
they had
game
this game circled. You
for
know they
sure.
did.
For sure. I agree with you. Yep.
You
For
know,
sure.
conference game. Let's put it on them. We got 10 days to kind of, dude. That was a
Right.
physical game that we just played against Miami.
Right.
That was
Well, the nice thing is we only needed to play a half of it, but yeah, I agree. Like that
true.
was, it'd be great to rest up, scheme up, and that's my big overarching thing is like keep the momentum going. Like I want to see Josh playing smart, conservative, if you want to call it that, right? And then in those key moments, right, put the cape on and be super Josh. But
Yeah.
and then keep seeing the evolution of the run game. There were some really cool wrinkles in there this game.
Yep.
Like you said, incorporating Ray Davis in there. I want to see some of that as well. And then you saw the new look with Kincaid. Those kind of behind the screen, throws. That was a nice little
Hey, that,
wrinkle
that dude can get upfield, man.
for sure. So I'm interested to see how they build off that for the next game. But
Same.
I mean, 2-0, right? You can't get any better. And
Hey, say it again for the people in the back, Jake.
2-0,
2-0, baby.
1-0 in the
2-0.
division. We just got to stop getting injured, man. Just stop getting injured.
Yeah. Next man
So
up, man. We've been doing this for
for
4
sure.
years now. Next man up. I think our
Not
team's
next
used
man
to
up
it.
to get injured. Next man up to play well, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Please. Yeah. Let's get that quote correct, please. Jake, that's gonna finish this, man.
Yeah. Let's wrap
Good
it up.
recap, man. Good recap. Good to be seen, man.
Good to be seen. Go Bills.
All right, Bills fans. See you.
Peace.